Cultural pessimism about aging endangers all facets of intergenerational solidarity. It shapes perceptions of the worth and value of human beings. It directs decisions about care, research, and funding priorities. The Sciences of Aging and the Culture of Youth is a research program that moves across disciplines and sectors and works with older people to inform practices and policy development in these areas. Funded by UK Research and Innovation and based at the Centre for the Humanities and Health at King's College London, it envisions combating the pessimism that surrounds getting older by shifting how we talk and think about aging, rather as a lifelong process with opportunities for continued development, which additionally motivates tackling cumulative inequalities.
Aging as a concept is quite elusive to me.
Aging is wisdom.
Wisdom?
Wisdom. Wisdom in the sense of you don't get any cleverer, but you've been around the block.
Aging for me is change.
Stories and care.
Privilege. Relaxation.
Knowledge and understanding.
What was the middle word?
It's the most common form of discrimination in this country, but it's not something that gets talked about a great deal.
One of the big stereotypes is that older people are a burden.
We talk about institutional ageism, which would be a company or an organisation behaving in an ageist way. We talk about interpersonal ageism, which is everyday behaviours or language and attitudes that could be ageist. And then lastly, we talk about self-directed ageism, which is when we tend to internalise these negative thoughts about ageing and older people because we hear them so much. Lots of us hold quite negative views without deliberately meaning to do so. What we do see is that intergenerational contact tends to reduce ageism.
Young people and older people are the least connected in our society. They find it hard to connect with local community. They can often feel the loneliest. There's also a lot of stereotypes around being young or being old, and we're kind of trying to break down those stereotypes and bring people together so they can meet each other, talk to each other, and realise that they do have things in common, that they can be connected.
My role model is definitely my 92-year-old granddad, who's one of the most stubborn, but also one of the wisest people that I know. But there's role models on both sides, right? You can have older role models, and you can also have younger role models. The amount of young people that are doing amazing work, activism, campaigning, and the things that they're doing for their community. So it works both ways, for sure.
As a society, we're not ageing equally. Someone on a low income will have a very different experience of ageing to someone on a good pension and in good health. Financial insecurity affects the choices we can make to age well. The environment we live in can play a huge part in our experience of ageing, and so can the number of health conditions that we live with. To reduce these inequalities in ageing, we need to make sure that good housing and health services are available to everyone.
Parkinson's isn't a disease of old age, it is a disease of ageing. We can hopefully implement and do things through lifestyle changes, through therapeutics, to push back the onset of Parkinson's. And this is something that we really want to understand and try and implement in everyday society.
I think it's really about how people adapt and are resilient to change, and not to say that, just be resilient, because this is, I think, one of the worst things we can tell people. It is this change, and you need to be changing with it to find happiness.
The end goal of all of this is for us all to experience better health, financial security, and be treated with respect as we age.
What can we do to enrich our lives and think of aging as not an inherently negative process and actually something that is really beautiful and it should be understood more?
Now that I am over 60, it's really like I'm living my young age. I'm like starting all over again, doing stuff that I didn't do in my youth, and I find it much better. I'm living over 60, I'm living better than when I was living younger.
I feel I've got a lot of time on my hands to spend, to be with family and friends, and I'm so grateful for that. I am proud to have a freedom pass that I'm able to get out of my house and go and do events and activities and meeting new people. I'm also grateful for the health care that I receive and all the support I get everywhere.
Ageing is something you do from the moment you're born, isn't it? You know, it's not just something that belongs to people over 50 or over 60. This is a journey we're all on.
If we are lucky, we will all age, and that's the key contradiction here, isn't it? It should be something that we can celebrate.
It's a privilege to get older. It's a privilege to say, I've had another birthday, I am here.
A lot of people talk about this sense, well, I'm here, you know, we're lucky to be able to age.
Live in the present, and as an old man, here I am. Here we are.